audio and a visual that you can actually hear my voice. I'm General Greene, Christopher Greene here, broadcasting from Thailand, Booyah. We have built the new America along with you, thousands of new members worldwide since declaring our 1776 independence on July 4th, 2022. I'm going to talk about everything that we're doing, all the amazing ideas, what has already been built, what you see behind me, and how we're changing the ball game at a time when the current system is failing. Again, if we look at the United States of America and the westernized world, it's crumbling. So instead of trying to fix something with stage 4 cancer that's on its deathbed with terminal illness and hospice care, a rational mind actually comes up with new ideas and new solutions. Just like the founding fathers, risked it all, traveled to flee a king and tyranny, and then set up 13 independent, decentralized colonies built on the principles of libertarianism. For those of you that don't know what libertarianism is, it's basically just stay away from me, and we don't want any government tyranny. It means that we're capitalists, that we want to be free, and that freedom and liberty is our number one priority. We don't care what other people do unless they infringe on us. Now, of course, give that a like and a share. We see that all over the world. We see the United States infringing on its citizens. We see European nation states infringing on its citizens. We see the entire world infringing on its citizens in an old, archaic model that's failing and that also doesn't work. So here's my question to all of you. If it doesn't work, if it's failing, and if it's screwing you, why do you keep participating in the system? Let me give you an example of this. I've been working online for nearly 20 years now. That means I generate all my income in the digital sphere. Nothing about American infrastructure, taxation, benefits, what I do at all. I make all my money online. In fact, a lot of my money doesn't even come in the form of US fiat currency. It comes in the form of new currencies like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, which I've been telling you to invest in for years, which has made me rich and many of my members rich. So again, I ask the question again, if the current system is an old, dying, stage 4 cancer model that doesn't work, that's broken, if it has debt that can never be repaid back, if its system is decaying, why would you participate in it? Why would you participate in a system that offers no value in the new model of the world? Again, people like me and many more people worldwide will be moving and gravitating to the model of not just a gig economy, but of decentralization and of the fact that you're outside of sovereign entities and governments. Again, somebody like me doesn't need a government for anything, nothing. It provides no economic value. It provides no safety. The only thing that it provides is tyranny, as we saw in 2020 with the forced lockdowns and the other topics that they're not going to stop, by the way. And there's a reason for it. The reason they're pushing all of that and destroying people's lives is because they know what I know. They know that the old system does not serve the new ideas of freedom, liberty in America. You know, a lot of you, I think, don't quite understand what we've built, what I've built along with my thousands of amazing members worldwide. A $33.5 million fundraise along with my beautiful, handsome Vice President, Father, Papa John Greene, VP. Many of you haven't really taken a close look. Let me give you an example. A lot of people will be, Christopher, why would I need a timeshare during World War III? Number one, we're not a timeshare. We're not selling time. We are selling freedom. We are selling independence. We are selling 1776. We are selling a decentralized flagship network of founders, which are now connecting worldwide and building our own nation state, our own economy, our own money with our own blockchain tech, our own people with similar values, with the same belief system, believing in God, believing in two sexes, believing in most of the time the principles of libertarianism, etc. That is what we have built. We have built an alternative, just like we built alternative media television 20 years ago. An alternative to the dying, decaying, malfeasant, non-functioning system, which is the same thing that we're doing now with physical assets. You know, the beauty of this, and if you think about this even from an intellectual perspective, is, you know, we saw all the problems in 2020. We've seen all the problems in 2008 and 09. But again, so few people are actually attempting to figure out any solutions. They're buying into the same broken system that continues to hurt them. Like, again, I complain about it all the time, but if your votes counted, things wouldn't be as bad as they currently are. If your vote actually counted, the politicians would be on their knees serving you and not the other way around. If your vote actually counted, you wouldn't be locked in your house in 2020. You wouldn't have your life destroyed. If your vote actually counted, you wouldn't be funding an illegal war in Ukraine because you didn't vote for that. You didn't vote for a non-NATO country. If your vote counted, Kamala Harris would have not just been replaced and having replaced Joe Biden in the White House because, well, that would be illegal. Notice they're not even telling us what's going on with Joe Biden. Joe Biden has gone missing like Where's Waldo, proving the point. Now, again, the financial elites, the cabal, already know this, and this is why they're transforming the entire world into a new system of totalitarianism and control. That's why every idea that they present to you is more surveillance, more tracking. Again, these are all topics that they lied to you about and said they weren't doing. Again, illegal track and tracing, surveilling of your cell phone, geolocating all of you tuning in, patting you down at the airports, telling you to remove your shoes, prohibiting you from travel, going to church, freedom of movement in 2020 is actually illegal. It is anti-constitutional in every single way and in every single manner. But again, the government knows that. The government also knows that because of technology, the breakthrough of things like Bitcoin, the breakthrough of people like me that have now become digital, essentially, and digitized, non-dependent on the system, they know that that's dangerous. And so they're going to have to move towards totalitarianism by overthrowing the once great nation, the United States of America, collapsing it and forcing its hand into the NWO. Again, these people are very, very smart. It's the same thing with crypto and Bitcoin as they co-opt all of that now because they can't stop it. Again, the direction of society is moving somewhere different. And I don't know if a lot of you have actually thought about this before. Do you actually need your country for anything? I mean, I'm just speaking personally. I receive nothing. Nothing. I expect nothing. I will never get Social Security. I have never gotten a benefit. I don't receive any help or bailouts. I don't get any subsidies from the government like big Fortune 100 corporations do. Again, my business is arguably domiciled completely out of any country at this point. Again, what is the value of participating in a system that doesn't even work? It's not like America is successful. America's failing. $35 trillion in debt. Every child born in the United States of America is saddled with $100K worth of debt per citizen the moment they are born. College education sucks. Will not help you make any money. Upward mobility declining. The political atmosphere, rotten. Look what's happening to Trump. Look what almost happened to him a couple of weeks ago. The whole system is in decline. So again, I beg the question, why do you support a system? Number two, why do you engage in a system that hurts you, provides no opportunity for you and your family, is destroying upward mobility, makes you poor, makes you subservient, and makes you a slave? In a system that is unfair, rigged towards the financial elites that continue to screw you, and all it does is hurt the general American middle classes. That is an act of stupidity. Even Albert Einstein famously said that with a famous quote, repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result makes you a full-blown retard. So why are you doing it? What we've built with islandproject.com is a true decentralized network. It is an asset base with no bank debt. And I want you to think about this a little bit more deeply today along with me. And you can ask any questions, and please like and share. Let me know that you've got audio and visual. It is an asset base independently and privately owned by you. So what does that mean? I have thousands of members worldwide. We've already proved the impossible. We host a collection of and own 10 to 12 properties now worldwide. This includes our portfolio in Maui, Oahu. This includes Park City, Utah, soon to be Thailand, Bali, Dubai, other nation states yet to be mentioned and released. This asset base is diversified the risk outside of multiple sovereigns and created a private community of like minds of which everyone can participate in the network. So how can you participate? One, with a financial investment. This means you're entitled, once you receive your docs, just like a stock, when you buy Apple stock, you own fractions of shares of a stock. Same thing with islandproject.com. It's no different. You invest 100K, you own 100K of everything you see behind me and all the other properties, fractionally, diversified, with no bank debt. That entitles you to capital gains. If the investment appreciates in 2 years and your 100K is worth 250K, you can take profits. This also entitles you to income at the end of the year in the form of annual distributions, otherwise and sometimes called a dividend. This means all the properties that we rent out at thousands of dollars a day worldwide, decentralized and diversified in multiple sovereigns to spread that risk around, not to mention in the best locations in the world, only focusing on the high end. Again, we're a very highly specialized niche or niche asset that only buys $5 million plus properties, $10 million plus properties, $30 million plus future spec homes like we own in Kaanapali, Maui, 10,000 square feet. We only buy in the most selective, highly desired, highest demand locations where BlackRock and the rest of the global cabal and elites, people like Jeff Bezos and others, are buying. Case in point, Donald Trump and his real estate company just purchased tens of millions of dollars of new real estate in Bali. A lot of you probably don't know that. Why are they doing that? The whole world is opening up. See, now that we're able to generate income independently outside of governments, outside of the corrupt state, we pose a problem for these governments that are mafias. Again, imagine if I came to your house today, later tonight, and I said, hey, what's up? My name's the General. I'm taking half of your income. Everything that you make, I'm taking half of it. I'm going to take that money, I'm going to put it in my own pocket, and then I'm going to go spend it on wars while I print fake debt from the central bank and the treasury, and I'm going to bankrupt the entire economy while I do it. How would you respond? You would tell me to go take a hike. But Americans are actually participating in this. It's freaking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and it's insane. Especially when we no longer rely on the infrastructure and the old, failing, crumbling stage 4 cancer system that doesn't work. I have an honest question for you. What benefit does the US government, or any government for that matter, I'm not even picking on the USA, just any government, benefit you tuning in? I can think of maybe a couple low-hanging fruit items. One is Social Security, which I expect to never receive. I understand a lot of you are on government, subsidies essentially, like Medicare, etc. But here's a newsflash: that's bankrupt and it's going away. You're no longer going to be being able to be dependent on that. Even if they still pay Social Security and Medicare and these kinds of things, it'll be in hyperinflationary dollars that won't even be worth their salt. You're getting poorer and your real wealth is declining while you're on a fixed income that does not keep up with hyperinflation, which has been engineered by the elites to transfer all the wealth to themselves. So again, what does the US system, or any system for that matter, provide? Is America helping to rebuild its crumbling infrastructure? No. Has it finished building a wall preventing people from coming into it? No. Do you feel safer in the United States? I don't. In fact, the only thing I've experienced is tyranny. The only thing in my short life I've experienced is lockdowns. The only thing I've experienced in my short life is non-legal liability pushing of this. The only thing I've experienced in my short life is too big to fail TARP bailouts, paying trillions to the financial elites that screwed everybody in the first place and ripped all of you off, especially you baby boomers. So again, I beg the question, what do these politicians offer? Now again, governments probably do some good things, but the problem is when it's become as corrupt as it currently is, it can't be fixed. This reminds us, of course, in the Bible of Sodom and Gomorrah, right before God basically blasts it with fire. Right before Lot and his wife are turning and running and exiting the sinful nature of the cities, and they're warning, don't turn back, otherwise you will turn into a pillar of salt. This is actually what's going to happen to most Americans. See, most Americans are looking backwards. Even Donald Trump is looking backwards. He says, make America great again because it's trash now. That's backwards thinking. That's admitting to yourself America sucks and is already in the toilet. That's looking back towards a system and a past which has no future. Islandproject.com is forward-looking. It's completely disruptive, just like the founding fathers that declared 1776 against a king. It is forward-looking into new opportunities, new currencies, and new technologies like blockchain. And we're the only people in the world to have successfully pulled it off. All glory to God. I don't give myself credit for that. I give credit to my members, and I give credit, although I do lead the project along with my father and amazing team, I give all the glory to God. So several years ago, 5 years ago, as I was thinking through all of these critical problems, having built AMTV for nearly 2 decades, becoming a millionaire against all odds, again, everybody told me that I would not be able to make any money. They told me it was stupid to do social media. People told me the internet was a fad, and they also told me Bitcoin was a scam. They've all been wrong about that. It's been the absolute polar opposite, just like what I'm telling you now. Just like I'm explaining to you now that independent sovereign communities, the new America, islandproject.com, is the future of the entire world. In fact, we won't be the only or the one and only offshoot of new decentralized communities forming. We're just the first. We're the first movers, and this is why we will profit the most from what we've built. But I actually expect this to be a much more common trend. Again, we're already in an economy now where most people are working on the internet. The governments and corporations already have proven to you that they don't need you. That's why they're putting you in your houses. That's why many of you remote work. They don't want you in an office. They don't want you in a building. What they're doing to you is scaling you out of society long term. A death by 1,000 cuts. By stealing from you through hyperinflation, moving you from the office into your house, creating the wealth transfer where your real wages continue to drop, and then of course what they're developing, AI, robotics, the future of blockchain technology, computer technology, etc., will eventually phase all of you out over time and multi-generationally. But again, what is the solution? See, I see no one speaking of solutions. When I go online, most of what I see is entertainment, fodder. It's people telling me to look in the past. Go look towards the past. Chris, America sucks now. It's a trash bin. It's a pile of poop. But let's hold on to the failing hope that we're going to turn it around, even though it's corrupt, even though it's rigged, even though the politicians hate your guts, even though multinational corporations are telling you to kneel, even though they're sponsoring the Olympic Games, a sacrilege of Jesus Christ and the Last Supper, and they're exposing young youth and children to it. Again, that is backwards thinking. That is unsuccessful thinking. Now, I'm usually 1,000 steps ahead of most people because I'm very disruptive. I'm an entrepreneur. So, many of you don't have to be as much of a risk taker as me, even though I would encourage you that you are. But that's the beauty of islandproject.com. There's very little risk at all. I have to say, read my terms and disclaimers at islandproject.com. Fill out a quick 3 to 5 minute app. See if you qualify. Call my father. Roll over your 401ks, IRAs, retirement accounts today. People ask us, Christopher, what are the potential tax implications of that? Well, there shouldn't be any. Contact my father. I'm not a CPA, so I can't give tax advice, but there shouldn't be any implications to rolling over your IRA. You can do this all the time, whether or not you roll over an IRA into gold or you roll it over into real estate. See, the beauty of islandproject.com, it's a very, very I can't say risk-free, but it's a very low-risk investment. So what are the risks? Well, how risky do you believe a no bank debt investment is? How risky do you believe that this property behind me, do you think it will appreciate or do you think it will lose value? Do you think the properties that my members own in Park City, the new ski lodge, the $6 million now appraised, $6 million, we paid 5.95 for it. It's appreciated 100 grand at least just in the last 30 days. Do you think that's going to go up in price or down in price? Do you think our world-class real estate in Maui, Oahu, on the beach, in Waikiki, on Kapalua, do you think it's going to go up or down? Let's even explain risks. Let's say the entire stock market collapses. What will happen to the island project? Nothing. It'll be more valuable. What would happen during World War III, which we're in now? It'll become more valuable. Same thing happened during the lockdowns in this thing. What happened to real estate? The wealthy and the elites and smart investors pile-drived into the best assets in the world to escape tyranny, to escape lockdowns, to escape criminal governments. They pile-drived into Maui, pile-drived into Waikiki, pile-drived into Bali, into Thailand, pile-drived into places like Texas, soaring real estate prices even higher. We've built islandproject.com for offense, for the 1000X, but also for defense in a time of economic financial collapse and hyperinflation. Let's talk about more scenarios. What happens to real estate during hyperinflation? It goes up. In fact, the one thing and lesson we can learn from history, is I've studied history myself my entire life, is during times of hyperinflation, what we're in now, any assets not denominated in the fiat collapsing currencies soar. Additionally, non-bank debt assets denominated outside of the banks soar. And they're also protected against things like we saw in 1929. Again, other investments that are leveraged, like REITs on the stock market, or fake derivatives as a part of the stock market, or other index funds or exchange-traded funds, which are fake representations of paper backed by nothing, that are IOUs, that are multiplied as multipliers on back of the original stock, and then spliced up, are backed by nothing. They're highly leveraged. Eventually, they will collapse. We saw this in 2008 and 09, which was an inside job. It was all pre-planned and rigged to steal all your money. Just like the recent events are all pre-planned, rigged to steal your money. Just like these wars have been pre-planned proxy wars. That's why the United States overthrew the government of Ukraine years ago. They toppled it, installed a puppet in the name of Zelensky. They're attempting to do the same thing in Venezuela right now. They've done it in Iraq with Saddam Hussein. They've done it with Afghanistan, then withdrew and lost the war. We saw them attempt to do this in Vietnam, and they failed there as well. Not a very good track record. So again, why are Americans focused on problems but not solutions? I even teach my children this on a daily basis. I tell them that there is no problem that doesn't have a solution, no matter what it is in your life. There is no obstacle or challenge that you could face without a solution. In fact, where the money is in a solution to the problems. So what are Americans' problems right now? Well, they're a lot less free. They're having their money stolen from them. There's an impending economic financial collapse, I think most of you would agree with me on. I think it'll be as bad, if not worse, than 1929. There's hyperinflation. Your politicians are corrupt. And generally, people are just less free. Hence, the Island Project, a solution to all those problems. Diversified, decentralized, outside of the banks. A common ethos of freedom and liberty and prosperity. Our own currency, our own economy. Let's talk about other problems for you Christians out there. And I have investors from all over the world in 12 nation states. What are you going to do when they launch the mark of the beast? And they tell you you can't buy or sell without that. What are you going to do when they tell you that you can't buy or sell without the chip in your forehead? What's your solution and what's your alternative? Here it is. islandproject.com. Again, we're our own economy. We are our own future currency. We are our own independent multi-billion-dollar blockchain technology. That's where all of our leverage will eventually come in. Let's talk about that for a moment. We have already designed and successfully built $33.5 million, no bank debt, diversified properties like what you see behind me. That asset will be forever and always protected. Our management team, as we professionally manage the project, we place tenants in, we make rents, etc. on the properties. Our management company, Isle Chain Holdings, for example, established a little over 2 years ago, also pays all taxes and insurance based on property types, whether or not they're vacation zones or they're long-term investments like some of the spec properties that we're working on. That's safe, no bank debt, never going away, diversified out of multiple sovereigns, producing cash flows on an annual basis, appreciating over the long term, will be used as the backing of the blockchain launch. So let's talk about that. All of our founders that are part essentially of like our IPO, right? In the past, people called it like an ICO, like an initial coin offering or whatnot. I don't call it that. It's more like just a call option on future equity. Just like in the stock market. If you have stock options in a company like Facebook, you can call those options once they go to Wall Street. Islandproject.com is going to the new Wall Street before anyone else. This means we'll be trading on crypto exchanges. We will have a token trading at a valuation essentially in the blockchain markets. This includes exchanges like you're familiar with that I've recommended, like Coinbase and Gemini, Crypto.com, other exchanges that trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, which has been pumping lately. Congratulations. I've seen that part of my portfolio really move a lot higher with profits recently. It feels really good to see that. I've recommended XRP, of course, for years now. God bless everybody. It's one of my top 3 positions in my portfolio. But these new equity blockchain tokens are going to be distributed to all of our members. What a lot of you don't understand is that new equity is in addition to the units you own. So let me explain. If you come in with 30 units minimum, you own $30,000 worth of beachfront. Like, let me explain this to you. What if you could own beachfront? You could own this for just $30K. That'd be pretty cool, right? Well, you can now. A $30K minimum investment today, right now, if you click the link below and invest, you own this and you own our 10 to 12 collection of exclusive properties now worldwide, instantly. Pretty dope, right? But that initial investment is always protected. It is separate from the equity launch of the blockchain. That's a very key point and a very important tenet that I don't think a lot of you quite understand, that you might not be aware of. I've designed, along with the team, and I'm in charge of our technology and blockchain development, along with a whole heck of a lot more than that, as part of the management team, along with my father in our portfolio construction and development, have designed a foolproof project with, again, very little risk and almost no downside. I have to say that there is risk because all investments carry a risk. I am beholden to regulators where I have to say that, but there's very little risk. The blockchain launch is a separate new equity event. People ask me all the time, well, how could 30K turn into $1 million? Because you simply need to 30X your blockchain investment, a separate event, to become a millionaire. So let's say you invest 30K into islandproject.com right now. I tokenize, let's say tomorrow, which I'm going to be doing very soon. The tokens go live. You receive a multiplier of free equity that is suddenly worth $1 million. It's 30x, which is actually very easy. Most of the cryptos I recommend that you've seen in the past, 100x, 200x, 500x, 1000x. I mean, even a terrible token will 10x, 15x, 20x. So we're talking about a very low standard. We're talking about a very conservative 30x. So suddenly you're a millionaire in blockchain, in Island Project new equity, in the Island Project tokens. You can do whatever you want with those tokens. You can sell them. You can take $1 million right off the top and just marry it and love it and hang out with it and sleep with it if you want. You can redeploy it. You can buy more equity. You could buy more real estate along with this. You can do whatever you want. Your initial investment, the 30K, nothing's changed. You still own 30K of the underlying asset with no bank debt. Nothing's changed. You still own it. It's still appreciating. You're still getting paid income distributions. You're still growing the asset base. And also there is some use. We don't sell time, but we thought it was really cool that members, based on their investment tiers, could take advantage of time comped at the multiple host of properties that they can actually touch. Private events, cool things that we're doing worldwide, group gatherings, networking parties, even just, sharing the beauty in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, helping to save souls. So there are two distinct components of islandproject.com, and they are foolproof. They are literally almost no risk, and I can't say guarantee, but are essentially guaranteed. I mean, let me explain to you. Like, even if you look at this from worst case scenarios, let's say we never tokenize. What will the investors own? Well, they will own still a highly appreciating, multi-$100 million capitalizing asset with cash flows and no bank debt that they also can use and can later sell at a profit because we built it with no bank debt. Defense and offense. But again, we always play to win. I'm a Division I All-American water polo player. I was also D1 Swimmer of the Year at Century League, Southern California. Started as a freshman. I was a driver. I was always the fastest guy on the team. Won every race, 50-yard freestyle, 100-yard freestyle, every single relay. I also won, I believe it was the 50-yard backstroke as a senior. Started as a freshman, NCAA D1 at George Washington University. I was recruited all over Southern California, UCI, Cal State Berkeley, the list goes on and on, UCSB, for those of you that are in the water polo world. I've always played to win. I've always played to take the shot. Like, again, without some risk. And here's my point I'm making to you. This really doesn't have any risk at all. I'm a huge risk taker. I take big risks. For example, when I saw Bitcoin under 1,000, I bought as much as I could. I went all in. When people told me that social media was a scam, I went all in. I quit my job and I started broadcasting. So I'm a big risk taker. This is why there's been huge rewards in my life. Because when I see a good opportunity, I go after it. Same thing in sports. If I see the shot and I see that the goalie isn't paying attention, I'll launch it from half court. There was a very famous game that I had played against the U.S. Naval Academy. I was also recruited as a Navy SEAL, never became one. And I was also recruited to the U.S. Air Force Academy by my coach, who was my high school coach, Jeff Ehrlich, who then went later to coach their water polo team. But there was a very particular incident that I remember. We were playing the Naval Academy in Annapolis. And I'm at half court where the whistle's about to be blown. And I could see that the opposing goalie wasn't taking us seriously. We weren't expected to win the match. And we actually didn't win the match that day. They had a very great team. And we ended up losing that match. But my point is, I remember I'm sitting at half court and I noticed the goalie's not paying any attention to the fact that I could rip a 100-mile-per-hour fastball high corner and score on him 2 points. At the time, you could score 2 points if you were outside of a certain range. Anyways, the whistle blows, and without any hesitation, I bomb this thing. Straight at this guy's head, goes right over his head, double bars in and scores. I embarrassed the entire team. I embarrassed the coach. The coach at the Naval Academy, a very serious guy, this is the Naval Academy, was so irate. He started dropping F-bombs and was throwing chairs in the pool like me because I humiliated the person that wasn't paying attention. Here's my point. Pay attention. Many of you are missing the opportunity of the lightning rod, of the pebble that all of you have in the fight against David and Goliath. You see, folks, we've already proved the impossible. God's already proven that the digital Noah's Ark is blessed by him. We've already built a $33.5 million well-diversified portfolio with no bank debt. We've already built the new America along with thousands of new members worldwide. We've already done it. It's not just an idea, we've pulled it off. And so again, what are you waiting for? If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd love to help you either way. Even if the investment isn't for you, we'll tell you that. As much as you're interviewing us, we're interviewing you. In fact, a lot of people don't qualify in islandproject.com. My dad will simply tell you, or I'll tell you, look, we just don't think the investment's for you. But a lot of you don't understand what we've built. You don't understand how successful we've already become. You don't get how this is a surefire, foolproof way with very little risk to protect you and your families during all these problems that you all say are coming. Again, how do you make money? You make money finding solutions to problems, to other people's problems. And what we've built is no different from what Americans look up to. Cowboys, revolutionaries like the founding fathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all the individuals that were libertarians that established the 13 colonies in libertarian fashion. What we're doing is really no different to what founded the United States of America. We're just utilizing new technology in a disruptive area that will eventually go away. So let me explain how many of you will miss this. Just like Bitcoin, if you didn't buy Bitcoin under 1,000 when I recommended it, you've missed most of the gains. If you didn't buy Google stock, for example, when I sold it at a Dutch auction, when I worked for Merrill Lynch, when I was in my 20s, well, you just didn't get rich. I sold the Dutch auction of the Google equivalent IPO. Most people didn't want to buy it. They told me it was a scam. The internet, which used to be much more disruptive when I started in 2008-09, was completely free. It was uncensored. It was democratized. Anybody could go on camera. The algorithms would actually promote good content. They wouldn't just promote fake content from CNN and Fox News like they do today. They weren't covering up search algorithms. They weren't tracking us around the world like they currently are illegally, like Edward Snowden and Julian Assange and all of these individuals have proven to you over and over again. I mean, again, everything they say they haven't done, they're actually doing. But here's my point. The time to disrupt, the time to get in, make your first $1 million with islandproject.com. My goal is to make all of you millionaires, even with a minimum 30K investment. A simple 30X at the blockchain launch will make you a millionaire. See our intent to tokenize. I can't, say it's a guarantee, but it's what I fully intend to do. What a lot of you don't understand is this window is also closing. So what's happening now? BlackRock's moving in. BlackRock is buying all the Bitcoin. The world's elite billionaires are now moving into real-world assets. Jeff Bezos has invested currently hundreds of millions of dollars to fractionalize and buy single-family homes all across America. You can look this up. The company's called Arrived. Go take a look at it. BlackRock is now buying and has been buying all the middle-class single-family home real estate. They are the principal buyers of most of the high-end properties as well, which is how you know it's a sure thing. They're buying most of the beach and ocean front to box you out of it so they can control the supply and continue to hyperinflate and then rent to the peasant class masses into infinity at huge, massive profits. It's the same thing with your cell phones. Remember back in the day, a cell phone was actually cheap and you could just buy it outright. It cost you like a couple $100, but you owned it. You weren't on a payment plan. Not anymore. You see, the financial elites always figure out a way to enslave their targets, to enslave the feudal class peasant. Now when you buy a cell phone, you're forced onto a plan. Not only are the phones thousands of dollars, they make you pay payments like a mortgage over an amortization schedule of like 36 months. And then what they do is through controlled obsolescence and screwing with the software, they make your old phones work less better, so you're forced to upgrade into the new ones. Or look at Apple computers, for example. They'll give you a new power cord that doesn't work with the old phone, and it only works with the new phone, so then you're forced and obligated to buy all the new widgets that you otherwise wouldn't buy. We're seeing this even with software. If you look at software, instead of owning software out direct, you own nothing. You're on a subscription model with Adobe Creative Cloud, for example, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, the products that we use all the time. Because again, the goal is to enslave the American people. You see, what's happened is the United States has become so corrupt, so destructive by evil Satanists, quite frankly, that they've overthrown the principles of the 13 colonies, libertarianism, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and the Paul Reveres that are rolling over and turning over in their graves right now due to the lack of inaction of Americans standing up and building something beautiful and amazing and godly, which remember, this country was founded under God. Just like the United States of America was blessed by God, the new America, islandproject.com, which is outside countries. It is truly an independent sovereign nation state with multiple flagships worldwide, and our own private, soon-to-be tokenized asset class has been commanded under the digital Noah's Ark by God, and it's why it's been blessed. George Washington, for example, was famous for praying intently for hours on end in the woods before he would go into battle and fire back on offense and defense against the redcoats beating their drums, attempting to tax them unfairly like currently is going on in the States today. You know, my motivation for all of you tuning in is that you really start thinking outside of the box towards solutions. Now, what we've built isn't really complicated at all. It's actually very simple. Just like how people think Bitcoin is complicated, it's not. You'll all be using Bitcoin in the future and not even know it. All of you will be renting. This is why you should become an owner in the future, real estate. Most of you probably do now. You can't afford to own, but you can now for just $30K. And not only that, you can buy beachfront and oceanfront with us, and you can even use some of it. For a lot of you young kids out there that can't afford a house, you can't afford a down payment, but let's say you've afforded to save $100,000 or even just $30,000, you can actually park your money, own real estate with us, the best real estate, the high-end real estate, the beach and oceanfront, let the asset appreciate, earn income, and then do whatever you want with it in a couple of years. You can continue to hold on to the asset base, let it grow over time as a legacy asset. That's what I'm doing with my personal assets. Everything I do is set up in legacy format for my children. See, again, for me, it's never been about money. I'm rich, but it's not about money. My wife always reminds me, and she laughs. She's like, Christopher, the only thing that you really desire is freedom. And that's the truth. The only thing I care about is liberty. I want the government outside of my face. I don't want them telling me what to do. I don't want them interfering with my child's education, which is why I homeschool all my kids. Again, when I honestly look at modern society, I see nothing that it provides at all. Now, the older generation and the baby boomers, you might be able to squeeze a little bit more Social Security payments, a little bit more Medicare for a short period of time before economic collapse. But people like me and my kids will never get a dime. We will never get a cent. Everything about America is in decline. Again, you have to be rich to be free in the United States of America. You have to own real estate to be rich in the United States of America and be free. You have to own Bitcoin. You have to do all of these things. Healthcare, for example, has exploded. I'm paying, personally, I have a fairly large family, but I'm paying upwards of near $5,000 a month for healthcare insurance for my entire family. That's probably more than most of you guys make in a month. And most Americans, would pay in a mortgage, for crying out loud. And that's just medical care. Again, no benefits, nothing from the government, no help. The only thing that I receive, and I do pay my taxes, although I would like to pay less and less than them over time, because again, just like Donald Trump said, you only pay taxes if you're stupid. The elites don't pay taxes. Amazon doesn't pay taxes. Jeff Bezos doesn't pay taxes. They don't pay any taxes. None of them do. They've offshored all their accounts to not pay taxes, set up foundations, which are money laundering scams, so they don't pay taxes. Then they invest in art, money launder it through the art over and over again at Sotheby's and whatever it is. Again, none of them pay taxes. Why do you? So again, I just ask you guys to beg the question, what do you actually get in return from this failing system? And the answer is nothing. You receive nothing. You don't get any job security. If you're currently employed, you'll probably be fired. Robots and AI are replacing most people and human labor. Real wages are declining. They've already figured out a way to position remote work for all of you so they can eventually fire you. They're moving you to universal basic income. They're stealing all of your freedom. And on top of that, they're telling us what to do. Well, I've got a news flash for these authoritarians. You don't tell us anything. You don't tell us what to do. We've declared our own 1776. We are the new America. And yes, I pay my taxes. And yes, I always do all the right things. But we have built our own independent solution, and we don't need you. And nor does the rest of America. This is also why they're moving towards grotesque tyranny. The reason is they know if more people like me woke up, if more people worldwide started taking dramatic, crazy action like I do, if more people were developing solutions, which is why you should onboard, they would lose control, not just of their property, which is the American people, because they own them like cattle and slaves, but they would lose complete control of the narrative. This is also why they control the media. It's why I started in media, because media is actually more powerful than money. Media mints money and currency. Media actually is the currency. Human population control of your mind is what value is. That's what is money. Malcolm X famously said that the mainstream media is the most powerful entity on earth. And that is the truth, which is why everything's censored and co-opted now. Because what they fear is you thinking differently. This is why they rewrite all the history books. This is why your history is all lies. It's what you see on the televised vision isn't true. That's why when most Americans watched the moon landing and didn't question it, they should have been. It's why when most people saw 911 and they allegedly say a couple guys with the little cutters took it all over, they didn't want you to question what happened. When you didn't see any fragments at the Pentagon, they don't want you questioning that. They don't want you to question what happened to Trump a couple days ago. They don't want you to question any of it. They want you compliant, unlearned, dumbed down, stupid, no money, no wealth slaves, dependent on the system as they own you and control you, force you to a rental-based society where you're not an owner. TheBeautyOfIslandProject.com is you're an owner. You know, we even saw this with the Civil War. The North was more concerned by the rivaling South than they were slavery. They were more concerned with stealing the Southern plantation owners' property, which included human labor that they then later put into slave labor factories in the North. They took the same alleged slaves in the South and put them as slaves into the North. Many of their lives were far worse than they were actually under the Southern conditions, and I don't promote slavery at all. I'm just pointing out that many actual slaves, I've read all these books, these novels, and this history, the alternative history. They will tell you that their slavery was worse under the tyranny of Lincoln in the North, working in plastic factories, coal mines, dying a young death, inhaling all of the toxicity, working for no wages, being completely disrespected by the North completely. And see, that's what the North does. They always anesthetize or sterilize their tyranny, right? It's always sterilized, where it's like you don't really know they're screwing you, but they are. They're like, oh yeah, you're free, but you're not allowed to own anything. You're not allowed to travel. You must do what you're told. You're not allowed to have a job unless you play ball. There's no free speech. We're going to censor you over that. If you have a counter narrative, you're not allowed to say it. Again, they always tell you you're free, but you're actually not. My passion and motivation for everything that I've built, my own deployment of hundreds of millions of dollars into properties around the world and into all of these businesses, has been to change the world. It's been to build a legacy and a true alternative when no one else in the world has done it. And I want you to think about how amazing and fun all this is too. Like, what we've built is so cool because it's actually physical and you can touch it. You can actually hang out at it. You can actually grow your own community of like minds. And what we're doing is powerful as well. It's saving people's souls. It's enriching their lives. It's helping to bring them to salvation. It's helping them to understand the truth of the nature of the world around them. Like, it's actually doing great things for people because it's empowering them. It's helping you create cash flows. It's helping you start new businesses. It's helping you form new relationships. It's helping for you not to be alone. You know, one thing I commonly hear is people say, well, I feel alone, like no one's listening, no one's there to help me. Where is the billionaire Christian mafia, Christopher, the Christian class, helping to build a better future? Well, as I've told you a million times before, you're looking at him. We are the Christian billionaire class. My father is the Christian billionaire class. My members are the Christian billionaire class. And this is what a lot of you need to understand, that our asset is a multi-billion-dollar asset class. And again, what do you think the valuation will be? What do you think the valuation will be of a $33.5 million no bank debt asset appreciating every single year in the best locations in the world? What do you think that'll be worth 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 years from now? It's going to be worth a lot more. What do you think the private free markets, because I'm a free market capitalist, I'm against bailouts. I'm against Wall Street. I'm against Larry Fink. I'm against criminal BlackRock. I'm against the central bank. I'm a freedom fighter, baby. I would never take a bailout or a PPP loan, and I never have. I refused all of them. I don't get anything. I'm a free mind independent, libertarian, liberty fighter who makes his own way, finds his own solutions, raises his own capital worldwide, buys his own properties along with all of the members, and does it for people, is what we do. But what do you think the private free market, the free capitalist market worldwide will value our asset class? Again, Pepe the Frog's trading at billions of dollars, backed by nothing, no cash flows, it's a frog. Dogecoin is a $10 billion plus asset, somewhere in that ballpark. All it is, it's a dog, no cash flows, doesn't own any physical assets, it's a meme. What do you think a cash flow producing asset, a physical asset with no bank debt, on the beach, oceanfront, diversified, decentralized, spitting out annual income, capitalized with large gains, growing every single year, will be worth and valued on the equivalent new Wall Street? Billions. Billions and billions and billions of dollars easily. As I release the roadmap for tokenization, I'll release more details as a part of some of our additional funding mechanisms, which will then buy more flagships. So once our blockchain goes live, and as we're raising hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars more, as my members are building equity, freedom equity, which, think about this long term, all my members will just carry in their wallet $1 million worth of real estate. They'll just carry it with their private keys. They will know that they own $1 million worth of Maui, Oahu, Thailand, Bali. It'll all be provable on the blockchain. Income distributions will be paid to the blockchain every single year. They can travel anywhere. They can even throw it in the water, and as long as they know their private keys, they can move around internationally. Can't do that with gold. Okay, you can't move a vault of gold with you. You can't even portably transfer real estate, but you can now with our blockchain. It's very difficult to move an apartment building, for example, but you can do that with a tokenized asset. And so all of my members have an ecosystem that they can tap into. And I want you to imagine in the future 5, 7 different flagships, right? So $33.5 million seasteads all over the world, all with their own ethos, right? So like our common ethos is freedom, liberty, Americana, wealth creation, free market capitalism, libertarianism, God, faith first, Jesus Christ is King. So, anywhere you go, it's a common ethos. It's a common community. It's not like America, where they're telling your kids to cut their things off. Okay, it's not like in America where they're telling you you're not allowed to work without this. We would never do that. Only the United States would. Okay? We would never send your kids to war in Ukraine like the government's currently doing. No, we believe in peace, freedom, liberty, prosperity. We believe in the American people. We believe in humanity. And we believe in free market capitalism, but most importantly, the only people in the world to provide solutions. But I want you to imagine the multiple flagships then connecting. I want you to imagine being able to use your tokens to stay at properties, which we have that in the works as well. I want you to imagine being able to choose what it is you desire as a result of your investment. Maybe you're more income focused. You'll be able to check a box that where income is the focus of your portfolio holdings as a part of islandproject.com. Maybe instead of that, you prefer use. You'll be able to check a box where maybe you get a little bit of a mix of income and use as a part of the blockchain component. So again, islandproject.com is the first truly diversified real asset with no bank debt outside of the banks. It's an asset class everybody understands. We own the best real estate, selective real estate, exclusive real estate, beach and oceanfront, typical purchases above $5 million, highly appreciating assets in the best locations you normally couldn't afford. This is not like we're buying, middle class market homes. Nothing against that, but we're not buying the average home. Those don't appreciate as much. They're not as desirable. The American elite don't want to buy it. The oligarchs don't buy any of that. They buy this stuff, which is why we own it. They don't want you to own this. They want you to own in the Hunger Games outside of the cities, in the rent-controlled assets. See, we're buying what they don't want you to own. So it truly is an amazing, beautiful project that we have built along with you. It's truly incredible. It's the coolest thing that I've ever seen alternative media essentially be able to disrupt and hijack in critical form. Let me give you another example. All the big banks, PayPal, etc., all these companies now censor conservatives from making money. Okay, I don't even tell you about all the things that I've faced in recent years because I never complain about problems. I only find solutions and get richer. That's what I'm about. Don't complain. Find solutions in your life. But we've seen this with these companies turning off your ability to make money. They're going to do that in the future to all of you. If you're a Christian, if you're a Republican, if you believe in freedom and you don't comply, if you don't take this, if you don't take this in the head, they'll just simply turn off your ability to make money. We even have a solution with that because your money's out of the bank in its own private economy. It's trading worldwide outside of the system in multiple sovereigns that they can't control. Decentralized exchanges and DEXs, for example, are uncontrollable by governments worldwide. Even if they close down one DEX like Uniswap, a new one pops up the next day. They can't control it. Blockchain technology, Bitcoin, of course, is also unhackable. It's never been hacked. Far more energy use is actually being used by governments over wars and building bombs than Bitcoin uses for electricity to mine its computers on a worldwide network decentralized with confirmations. The big banking system actually pollutes the earth more, printing currency and their large, huge buildings of commercial infrastructure and the banking system itself polluting carbon emissions than Bitcoin does or blockchain technology. Again, the biggest polluters of the environment are the elites. The biggest polluters are the billionaire class flying their Learjets with their multiple yachts, etc. Which, by the way, I'm not against at all. I just suggest you become a billionaire and blow the fumes in their face. Again, stop complying to a society where they don't comply. Stop playing ball with people that play by their own rules. Stop supporting a decaying system with no solutions that's looking towards the past and not the future. American politics reminds me of some dude wallowing after he was dumped by his girlfriend, saying, oh man, I used to be in a great relationship. No, that only makes you a PUSS, you know what. That's what it makes you. You're looking in the past, bro. And the reason you were dumped is because you were a loser. So stop looking in the past. Stop cucking yourself into a non-solution of a failure, like a failed marriage or something. Oh, America sucks now. Hopefully we can get in a new leader and he'll clean it up. No, he can't. He can't. He can't mathematically, or she mathematically fix the United States debt. They can only reset it and move it into tyranny. And that's what's going to happen. Again, in conclusion, at the end of all of this, after all of the bread and circus, after all of the tyranny, after all of the entertainment, after all of the showy politics, after all of the Hunger Games, the gladiator games, the casino is finished, after the circus, the bread and circus is complete, it's all going one guaranteed direction. More centralized control by the people that hate you, the globalists, the banks, the central authorities, global integration, toppling of America and the West, and then moving into a bigger police state, more surveillance, and larger wealth inequality than you can ever imagine. So again, it's not about getting rich, it's about freedom. The only way you will be free is through solutions, your mind, your skill set, your preparations, your daily habits, your work ethic, your 1000x mindset and attitude, and then deploying your energy, capital, into ideas and physical solutions that have already been built in the real world. Real communities where their strength is in the community that's building equity, income, long-term growth, and then of course is disrupting in the number one asset class of the future, blockchain. Many of you missed Bitcoin, you missed Ethereum, you missed XRP. Don't miss that. Don't miss islandproject.com. It's all turnkey. If you want to participate in an asset you understand, buy Island Project. If you want to own the best real estate in the world for just $30K, buy Island Project. If you want to make money, buy Island Project. You want income distributions, buy Island Project. You want a turnkey solution into Bitcoin, blockchain, Ethereum, the crypto markets, but you don't understand crypto? You don't want to take my school and learn about private wallets and private keys, and you don't know how to learn about exchanges, it's too complex, you're a baby boomer, you're older, or you just don't care, buy Island Project. We're doing it all for you. It's turnkeyed by a professional management team of the best people in the world with a proven track record with true winners, as you see every single day with my father and of course Papa John and our amazing members around the world. So we truly have declared 1776. We truly have built the alternative solution. We truly are the 1000X, and all of you are the solution. So become the solution today by clicking the link below and onboarding. Call us at 808-442-2934 with any questions. That's Papa John Greene, Vice President, at 808-442-2934. Read our terms and disclaimers if you have any questions. This is not guaranteed financial performance. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just rich. And I love freedom, and I've declared war against BlackRock and the deep state on behalf of all of you. And this is our country now. And we are the new America. And we are the founding fathers. And we're kicking ass, along with the new American Republic. God bless you all. This is the Digital Noah's Ark. I only kneel for Jesus Christ. We are saving souls. We were on a mission from God. You are the Navy SEALs of Christ. And it is a blessing to be alive. Stay tuned for more announcements, more acquisitions as we travel abroad and accumulate more world-class properties like you see behind me today. Links below and up here. God bless you. And I salute every single member and subscriber as a part of this amazing alternative network.